these are the 2022 Basketball Africa League champions, has raised concerns about the playoff prospect and overall team strength from this Tunisian side. Many are left wondering what might be behind this unexpected slump. To shed more light in this situation, we will be joined by a sport commentator, one who knows basketball so well, like the palm of his fingers there. We've got Mohammed Abdullahi joining us all the way from Dakar, Senegal. Thank you so much, Mohammed, for joining me on the show today.
Thank you so much for inviting me. Good afternoon, Nigerians and Africa in
Good
general.
afternoon to you. Of course, we are here again to have this conversation around the Basketball Africa League. I have seen the downturn of 2022 Basketball Africa League champions, and I'm wondering what the problem is. But let's start off from the competitiveness and the competition that's in the Sahara Conference so far. How does the level of competition in this season's Sahara Conference at the Basketball Africa League, how does it compare to the previous season?
Thank you. Over the years, the Sahara Conference actually lived up to expectations as being actually the toughest to qualify from to the playoffs and finals every year up till now in Kigali, Rwanda. So it's no doubt that this year also, the fourth season of the BAL, the Sahara Conference is living up to expectations. Crowds are trooping in. And like you rightly mentioned, the one-time champion, the second edition champion, US Monastir of Tunisia are finding it very difficult. But I wouldn't say it's because of their poor play at all. It's because of the competitiveness of other teams. Seriously, the very first game, APR of Rwanda, they are debutants in this competition. They came out. They came out blazing. Even after almost losing the game, just 3 seconds remaining, they were losing 78 to 75, 3 points. And then before the final buzzer, a player like got a final three throw shots and then tied the game. It went to overtime of 15 minutes each. So it's been very, very competitive here. You have to really work hard if you want to win. If you want to qualify, there are two spots available to qualify to the playoffs and finals in Kigali. So it's been competitive. It's been very enjoyable. And then even though Rivers Hoopers are leading the table after match day 2 with 2 wins out of 2, it's still very, very competitive. Any of the 4 teams could still make it. So I hope our Rivers Hoopers will not be overconfident into this game.
Okay.
Because definitely the Tunisians will come out blazing after losing 2
Before we
matches.
go into today's game, Mohammed, I know you did talk about the competitiveness, that the same we did see in the previous year. It's what we're seeing right now in the current Sahara Conference season. But the teams, I think their performance differ. US Monastir, to be precise. They appear to, they've continued that trend of last season, struggling to replicate previous season's success. Now, against AS Douane, they scored under 60 points for the very first time at the Basketball Africa League. I became so surprised there. Mohammed, what factors might be contributing to such challenges from strong teams like US Monastir? Are they being affected by external factors like injuries, fatigue, or is there a change in the coaching crew?
I think I will stick to my earlier assessment of the fact that it's just sheer competitiveness. Because seriously, like for instance, previously when Rivers Hoopers attended the BAL, the BAL, the inaugural edition 2021, like the coach said, they came in, without understanding blindly what the competition is all about, and they lost woefully. They performed below par. But this time around that they are coming for the second time, I'm just using this as an analogy. They came out very much prepared and so on and so.
But we can't say same of US Monastir.
I know.
And an experienced side, former champions of the Basketball Africa League. So they're not coming like with jitters.
What happens everywhere, not only in basketball, in the realms of life, is the fact that it's easy. Perhaps it's easier to get to the top, but remaining there is much more difficult. You understand?
Okay.
So people understand. All other teams understand that US Monastir, they are very good. They are very good side. They've got good equipment. In fact, they've got in terms of money and so on and so forth, and even the equipment and so on. The experience is there. But so it made all other teams as well to prepare better. You understand? And maybe one factor that I would say affected the Tunisian team is the fact that perhaps maybe they were overconfident. Some of the players were thinking it's just like an override, like it used to be. But it's shocking now that they are bottom of the log, perhaps, and that's why I'm clamoring, calling on our Rivers Hoopers to be very, very careful today. Those guys, I'm sure, after losing 2 games consecutively, will come out blazing later this evening.
All right, we'll be crossing our fingers, hoping that they come out blazing. But considering US Monastir's recent losses, how might Rivers United, approach this upcoming game against them? Are there any loopholes you think Rivers United can happen?
Yes. In the 2 previous games, some of the challenges I've seen with Rivers Hoopers is that they tend to be a little bit lethargic, particularly at the final quarter. Seriously, in the first game against the home side, they lost 8 points in less than 1 minute of the 8-point lead in less than 1 minute of the fourth quarter. They were leading about 8 points in the third quarter, and in the fourth quarter, perhaps they went to sleep. They lost the whole 8 points in less than 1 minute. It was just a miracle that they had to fight back and then later won that game. Same thing almost happened in the second game against APR. Seriously, we were extremely lucky, I must say, because in the final, not even minutes now, in the final, I think, minute of the game, of the fourth quarter, they were so lethargic that they lost 3-4 free throws, and it was then 84-80 at that point. We just needed some little determination from the APR to tie that game and then perhaps go ahead to upset us. So we need to be more clinical. And, like I said, not be more hungry. Feel that the game is not over until it is over. So these are just the little point I feel the Rivers Hoopers should work on. If they do that perfectly from the beginning of the game, come out, match up the Tunisian side up until the final buzzer, I think they should be able to carry the day. But if they go to sleep at the tail end like they usually do, it might be problematic this time around.
So you think a minister can wake up from their sleep against Rivers Hoopers when they go head-to-head today? I've seen US Monastir, they start strong, yes, against any team they come up against. Against APL, they could not just maintain that momentum. That led to their loss in the opening game of the Basketball Africa League, the Sahara Conference. But how do you anticipate US Monastir's response due to these recent back-to-back losses? Do you think they would make adjustment that might really upset Rivers Hoopers?
I don't think they will make adjustment. I feel they are going to come out really hungry, seriously, because you know what is at stake. I'm not thinking. I'm just feeling that is what they are going to do. Since they've lost 2 consecutive games, if they really want to have a chance to go to the playoffs and finals in Kigali, they have to come out blazing. Even though, this Sahara Conference, there is also a possibility of a third best loser to qualify. But they might not want to, leave their chances to being third best losers. So I expect the game to be pretty tough, pretty tight. And all the games have been like that in the Sahara Conference. Seriously, in the second quarter of the Nigerian game versus the Rivers Hoopers game versus APR, it was tied 40 points each in the second quarter. Rivers Hoopers led just by 1 point in first quarter and third quarter just by 1 point. So it's been pretty tight. So it means any team that's been able to do a little bit extra will carry the day. So I expect that the game will be very tight. But hopefully the Rivers Hoopers team will be able to triumph at the end of the day.
All right, we are crossing our fingers and hoping that Nigeria is only representative at the Basketball Africa League. The Sahara Conference will go all the way. 3 wins is not a big deal. They can get it. Mohammed, I know you agree with me. All right. Remember that if US Monastir...
Sorry, if you allow me, we've got some big shot here in Dakar that are supporting the team. I don't know if you allow me put names. We've got Temi Otedola. She's been here.
I did see
supporting Rivers. And then I've got a scoop for you. We've got the recent Guinness World Record champion Tunde Onokoya also will be there at the event afternoon. Yeah.
They've got the back ends of Nigerians, of course, there. And I'm hoping that this will spur them to go up against US Monastir, pick that back-to-back wins at the Sahara Conference. We've been speaking to a sport commentator who's in Dakar, Senegal, following up with the Basketball Africa League Sahara Conference, Mohammed Abdullahi. Thank you so much for joining us on In the Game today.